A classic Yusupov-Rubinstein system emerges in Montenegro League 2025 Premier Round 7, setting the stage for an intriguing battle. On d4. Knight f6. Knight f3. On e6 we are now in the Yusupov-Rubinstein system. On e3. On b6. Bishop d3. Bishop b7. King castled kingside. On d5. On c4. Bishop d6. On takes d5. On takes d5. Knight c3. Knight bd7. Queen c2. Nikcevic considers playing Knight b5. Knight e4. Bishop d2. On a6. Knight takes d6 check. Knight takes d6. Bishop b4 and seized the initiative. King castled kingside played by Pastar. Knight b5. Queen e7. Knight takes d6. Queen takes d6. On b4. On a6 it is novelty move. On a4. Rook fc8. Bishop a3. On c6. On a5. On b5. Rook fe1. Rook e8. Knight d2. Rook e7. On f3. Rook ae8. Knight f1. Nikcevic might go for Knight g3. On g6. Queen f2. On h5. On h3. Knight f8. Bishop c1. Knight e6. Bishop d2 and secure a stronghold in the game. Knight f8 played by Pastar. Bishop b2. Knight e6. Bishop c3. Bishop c8. Rook ad1. Nikcevic might go for on e4. On takes e4. On takes e4. Queen f4. On e5. Knight d5. Bishop takes h7 check and gain a significant edge. Queen c7 played by Pastar. Queen f2. On h5. Bishop b1. Bishop d7. On h3. Knight f8. Knight g3. Nikcevic is planning to play Bishop d2. Queen c8. Rook c1. On h4. Knight f1. Knight g6. Bishop takes g6. On takes g6. Queen takes h4 and take decisive advantage. Queen c8 played by Pastar. Bishop d2. Knight g6. On e4. On takes e4. On takes e4. On h4. Threatening pawn takes g3. Knight f5 played by Nikcevic. Threatening knight takes e7 check. Bishop takes f5 played by Pastar. On takes f5. Rook takes e1 check. Rook takes e1. Knight e7. Rook e5. Threatening queen takes h4. Knight d7 played by Pastar. Threatening knight takes e5. Rook e4 played by Nikcevic. Knight d5. Queen takes h4. Knight 5 f6. Rook takes e8 check. Queen takes e8. Queen e1. Nikcevic intends to play Queen takes e8 check. Knight takes e8. Bishop e4. Knight df6. Bishop takes c6 and increase their advantage significantly. Queen f8 played by Pastar. Bishop a2. Queen d6. Queen e3. King f8. Queen f4. Threatening queen takes d6 check. Queen e7 played by Pastar. King f1. Nikcevic might go for Queen c7. Queen e4. Queen d8 check. Queen e8. Queen takes e8 check and establish a winning position. King g8 played by Pastar. Bishop e1. Queen e8. Queen f3 take a moment to spot the best move for Pastar. Knight d5 is a strong choice, since Bishop takes d5. Pawn takes d5. Queen takes d5. Knight f6. Queen e5. Queen c6. Still Pastar is losing. Let's explore the main game. Queen f3. Threatening queen takes c6. Knight e4. Slightly worse move played by Pastar. Bishop b1. Threatening queen takes e4. Knight df6 played by Pastar. Queen f4. Nikcevic is looking to play on g4. On c5. Pawn takes c5 and seize the initiative. Queen e7 played by Pastar. Queen b8 check. Queen f8. Queen takes f8 check. King takes f8. King e2. Knight d6. On g4. Niksevic's idea is to play on d5. Knight takes d5. King d3. Knight f6. King d4. Knight d7. On h4. King g8. Bishop g3. Knight b7 and take decisive advantage. Knight d5 played by Pastar. King f3. On f6. On h4. Knight e7. Bishop d3. King f7. Bishop g3. Threatening bishop takes d6. Knight c4 played by Pastar. On g5. Knight d5. On g6 check. King g8. Bishop takes c4. Pawn takes c4. Take a moment to spot the best move for Nikcevic. Bishop e1 is a strong choice, since on c3. King e2. On c2. King d2. Knight takes b4. Bishop g3. Nikcevic have small advantage. Let's proceed to the main variation. Pawn takes c4. Bishop d6. Slightly worse move played by Nikcevic. King h8. On h5. King g8. King e2. Knight c3 check. King e1. Knight d5. King d2. King h8. Bishop g3. King g8. Bishop d6. King h8. King e2. Knight c3 check. King f3. Knight d5. King e2. Knight c3 check. King e1. Knight d5. Bishop c5. King g8. King d2. King h8. King c2. King g8. King b2. King h8. Bishop f8. King g8. Pause the video and find the best move for Nikcevic. Bishop c5 is logical continuation as King h8. King c2. King g8. Bishop d6. King h8. King d2. Nikcevic have small advantage. Let's explore the main variation. King g8. Threatening king takes f8. Pawn h6 is not the best move played by Nikcevic. Threatening bishop takes g7. Pawn takes h6 played by Pastar. Bishop takes h6. King h8. King c2. King g8. Bishop d2. King g7. Bishop e1. King f8. King d2. Think carefully what is the best move for Pastar. King g8 is the right idea because Bishop g3. King f8. Bishop d6 check. King g7. Bishop g3. King h8 position is equal. Let's analyze the main variation. King d2. King e7. Time to think. Find the best continuation for Nikcevic. Bishop h4 is logical continuation as King f8. Bishop takes f6. Pawn c3 check. King c2. Knight takes f6. King takes c3. Nikcevic have small advantage. Let's proceed to the main variation. King e7 is a mistake played by Pastar. King e2 is a mistake played by Nikcevic. Knight c7. King f3. Do not rush. Can you find the strongest move for Pastar? Knight b5 is logical continuation as King e4. Knight d6 check. King f4. Knight b5. Pawn d5. Pawn takes d5. Still Pastar is losing. Let's analyze the main game. King f3. Knight d5. Stop here and find the strongest move for Nikcevic. King e4 is logical continuation as Knight c7. Pawn d5. Pawn takes d5 check. King d4. King f8. King c5. Nikcevic have small advantage. Let's proceed to the main game. Knight d5 is a mistake played by Pastar. Pawn b5 is a mistake played by Nikcevic. Threatening pawn takes a6. Pawn takes b5 played by Pastar. King e4. Threatening king takes d5. Knight c7 played by Pastar. Bishop b4 check. King e8. Pawn d5. Stop here and find the strongest move for Pastar. Pawn c3 is a strong choice since Bishop takes c3. King d7. Bishop takes f6. Pawn b4. Bishop e5. Knight b5. Still Pastar is losing. Let's analyze the main variation. Pawn d5. Nikcevic is looking to play Pawn d6. Knight d5. King takes d5 and gain a significant edge. King d7. Slightly worse move played by Pastar. Pawn g7 Pastar fought hard but ultimately had to concede defeat.